Hey there everybody, so today I'm going to walk you through how to create your double exposure. So first I'm going to start off by going to a free stock photo website. I'm using Unsplash right now. I looked up profile portrait just so I can find a profile picture. So this is going to be the easiest way to go about doing your double exposure. And I'm going to go ahead and look through these, and then I'm going to end up downloading the picture of this guy right here. So I'm going to download the image. Once I download it, I'm actually going to open up Photoshop. So I'm going to open up Photoshop, and then I'm going to open up that file, and I'm going to take you through the process in which we first start out editing the image to prepare it for the combination of the two images. So I'm going to go to File, Open, go to my downloads, open up this image, and I'm going to first start off with going to the Quick Selection tool and clicking Select Subject. So Select Subject, we've used it a few times. It does a pretty good job of selecting the subject of the portrait. I'm going to go in with a Refine Edge tool to get all of the bits of his hair perfect. And then I'm also going to go in and zoom in and use the brush tool to get all the little bits that I think need to be either selected or that I will end up masking later. Once I'm happy with the selection, I'm going to output to new layer with layer mask. And then I am going to go back into select and mask, and then I'm going to output to selection. So I'm doing this to go ahead and save my selection. So you go to select, save selection, name it, and then you will have that selection saved. That'll be helpful to you later. So next, I'm going to go in and crop this image. You don't have to do this step right now, but I just went ahead and did it. What we're going to do next is we're going to add a black and white layer adjustment to the image. I'm just going through and playing with some of the different presets. You could do this as well until you find one that you like, and then make sure to clip that adjustment layer to the layer below. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Like always, we're going to do our last name, comma, first name, project 4, and I'm going to save that as a PSD. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and look for my background image. So the first thing I thought of was look up skyline. I'm going to look through a few of these, and then I decide I need to go look at some double exposure examples. So I'm going to look them up. I'm going to look through some of the examples just to get some inspiration to help me decide what my background image is going to be. I'm going to go back and look at my guy just to kind of verify what's going on there. And now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the stock photo website and choose my image. It's really important that you guys look at examples and kind of look at what you're dealing with, making sure that you find the best background image for your profile picture or just your model picture in general, because you want to make sure that they will end up working together. I'm going to add a black and white layer adjustment to this image as well. I'm doing the same exact process, playing around till I find the best preset to use. And then next I'm going to adjust the levels. So the point of this is to get that sky to that white point. Remember, we want there to be some sort of part of the image where it could be completely whited out so that it blends well with the background when we create the double exposure and lay the two images over top of each other. So I'm going in select and mask. I selected the background of this image, and what we're going to do with this selection once we make it perfect is we are going to add another level adjustment to the image so that the sky is 100% white. So you're going to see me do that in 1 second. I'm going to output to a selection and then apply that new level adjustment. As you can see, I pulled it all the way over to the left so the sky is 100% white. I'm just showing you that you could use info to double check your levels and adjust accordingly. But basically, you want it generally white. I'm going to save it as a PSD, and this one is going to be called Project 4 Background. And once I adjust that image, I can exit out, and then we're going to place that linked in our actual file that we're going to submit later on. So I'm going to play around with the placement of this background image. It helps if you change the blending mode to one that works. We're going to either work with multiply or screen. Those two are going to be the best two options for this project. And I am just going to keep playing with it until it is perfect. As you saw, I am using transform to adjust it. That's Control-T on the keyboard if you'd like to use your keyboard shortcuts. Once I'm happy, I'm going to click the little check mark and then load my selection to mask the background. Now I'm at a solid color fill to the image. I'm going to bring it down all the way to the bottom, and then I'm going to adjust the color accordingly. Remember guys, we want it to be a light gray white color so that it's going to blend appropriately. And then I'm going to go to my brush tool and make sure I have the soft round brush and make the appropriate adjustments. Make sure you have that larger brush, your flows turned down a little bit, and I am on the background or the layer mask of the man, and I am going to start adjusting the image. I'm just playing around trying to see what's going to work best. This is going to take a while until you get an idea of what's going to be best for this image, the images that you're working with. As you can see, some of the background of the background image is going outside of the outline of the man. So I'm just going to load my selection, make sure it's inverted, and then I could use the brush tool and erase whatever shouldn't be there. And then I'm going to inverse that selection so that it is the outline of the man, and I'm going to go back and paint and play around and see what looks best. And this is going to be different for every single image. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So this is the part where you get to be creative and play around until you are happy with your selections and your masking. Please remember that you paint on the black and white layer mask and not on the actual layer itself. Please, please, please be careful. It is very easy to make the mistake of painting on the actual layer. If you don't note it before you save, or if you go too far in the project and you don't realize that you did that, it is going to hurt you and you are going to have to start over. Just let me know if that happens, but just be careful so we can avoid that issue, because it's a bit of a pain in the butt to try and fix it. So like I said, layer mask, and then you just keep painting until you're happy with it. I'm not really happy with that little mountain right there or whatever it is in the background, so I'm erasing it. And then I'm going to make sure that his chin is visible, so I'm going to load that selection again and then paint where his chin is on his layer so that there's a fine line there. And lastly, we are going to crop the image. So we are done with our double exposure from start to finish. Remember guys, if you want to go in and convert your image to a smart object and go ahead and use Camera Raw, you're going to want to use the keyboard shortcut when you're on the top layer, Control-Shift-Alt-E, to copy all of your layers up to one, and then you can go in, like I said, convert it to a smart object and use Camera Raw to add a little bit of extra oomph to your project. But this is it, you guys. So when you get done, make sure you turn it in to Google Classroom. If you need any help, come back to this video or let me know.